Over 1 million European fans traveled to America this summer for the World Cup, and most of them were warned before they left. But the warning was not about the heat or the distances or the ticket prices. They were warned by their own governments about the medical bills and about what healthcare actually costs in the United States. The UK Foreign Office, the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the German government all issued specific travel advisories before the tournament began, telling fans that if something goes wrong in America, the bill will come. And this summer, with temperatures hitting dangerous levels across multiple host cities, something went wrong for a lot of people. Today, we are talking about the single biggest culture shock that European fans experienced in America this summer, and it has nothing to do with Waffle House or pickup trucks or free refills. It is the moment they discovered what American healthcare actually costs. Before we get into it, here is your quiz question. How much does the average ambulance ride cost in the United States? Drop your guess in the comments now, because the real number genuinely shocked European fans this summer, and it will probably surprise you too, even if you already think you know how expensive American healthcare is. So here is the context you need first. In the United Kingdom, healthcare is free at the point of use. You walk in, you get treated, you walk out, and you pay nothing. It is funded by taxes, and it is available to every person in the country, regardless of income. Many European travelers also carry GEHIC or EHIC, a global or European health insurance card, which gives them access to state-provided healthcare in other European countries at little or no cost. That card does not work in America. In France, the government automatically covers around 70% of healthcare costs, and supplemental insurance covers most of the rest. In Germany, statutory health insurance covers virtually every resident, and emergency care is essentially free at the point of use. For most Europeans, the idea of receiving a bill after medical treatment is simply not part of their lived experience. Healthcare is something their government provides, and the cost is invisible because it is built into their taxes, and it simply never comes up. In America, healthcare is a market where getting hurt is a financial event. And this summer, over 1 million European fans encountered that reality for the first time, some of them at the absolute worst possible moment. Imagine you are a Scottish fan at the World Cup. You are walking from the stadium to your transport in 100-degree Texas heat. You start feeling dizzy. You sit down. Someone calls an ambulance. The paramedics arrive, treat you on site, and take you to the hospital. Back home in Scotland, that entire sequence of events would cost you nothing. The NHS would cover every part of it at no cost to you whatsoever. In America, the ambulance ride alone costs an average of $1,383, confirmed by an international comparison study published by EMS1 this year. And that is before you reach the hospital, before any treatment begins, and before a single test is run. $1,383 just for the ride. And that is the average. In cities like New York and Dallas, where World Cup matches were held, ambulance costs regularly exceed $2,000 for a single trip. In Chicago, advanced life support ambulance calls have been documented at over $3,000. And here is something that makes those costs even harder to predict. In an emergency, you cannot choose your ambulance provider. You cannot shop around or check whether a service is in your insurance network while you are losing consciousness on a sidewalk. You are billed by whoever shows up. And while the No Surprises Act of 2022 introduced federal protections against unexpected bills from air ambulances and many hospital providers, it explicitly does not cover ground ambulances. So the most common emergency vehicle in America, the one that most likely picked up European fans at the Houston Fan Festival or outside stadiums in Dallas and Kansas City, remains entirely outside those billing protections. And this was not a hypothetical risk at this tournament. On the opening day of the Houston Fan Festival, 22 fans required medical treatment for heat-related illness. 4 were taken to hospital. 2 suffered heat stroke. All of this was confirmed by Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo, who publicly called for more shade, more cooling areas, and more hydration facilities. For the European fans in that crowd who needed treatment, the experience of receiving care in America and then facing an American medical bill was a genuine collision between two completely different ways of thinking about what healthcare is and what it costs. Because the numbers at every stage are genuinely shocking when you come from a country with universal healthcare. An emergency room visit for a broken bone in America runs between $800 and $3,000. A single night in an American hospital can exceed $15,000. A heart attack averages more than $21,000. Americans pay an average of $3,500 per year out of pocket on healthcare costs on top of their insurance premiums. And 25 million Americans remain completely uninsured, with no Medicare or Medicaid coverage to fall back on. Medical bills are the leading cause of personal bankruptcy in the United States, responsible for an estimated 66.5% of all bankruptcies, and affecting roughly 530,000 American families every single year. For European fans reading those numbers, it is not that they judge Americans or think America is cruel. It is that the numbers are so far outside their frame of reference that they genuinely struggle to process them as real things that happen to real people in a developed country in 2026. European governments understood this before the tournament started. The UK Foreign Office specifically warned fans to purchase travel insurance and to understand that American emergency services, while excellent in quality, are expensive and billing can be complex for international visitors. Insurance companies across Europe ran advertising campaigns aimed specifically at World Cup travelers, warning them that a single medical emergency in America could cost more than their entire trip. Just Travel Cover, a UK travel insurance company, published data showing that medical claims for UK travelers to the United States are consistently among the highest of any destination in the world. Major travel insurers, including Allianz and World Nomads, both saw increased policy uptake specifically tied to World Cup travel, with US medical coverage cited as the primary reason people were buying. And here is the detail that honestly captures the full cultural gap better than any statistic. In most of Europe, an ambulance is a public service funded by taxes and available to anyone who needs it regardless of their ability to pay. The idea that the vehicle carrying you to the hospital would generate a bill of over $1,000 is so foreign to European thinking that it genuinely does not register as a possibility until the bill actually arrives. Americans, by contrast, largely accept ambulance costs as a fact of life, something you budget for, something your insurance handles, something you negotiate down afterward if the bill feels too high. Two completely different relationships with the same vehicle doing the same job in the same emergency. Here is the escalation that puts all of this into its sharpest focus. According to OECD health statistics, America spends more per capita on healthcare than any other country on Earth, more than the UK, more than Germany, more than France, and more than any of the countries whose fans traveled here this summer. The latest figures put US healthcare spending at over $15,000 per person per year, nearly double what most European nations spend. And yet, by almost every measure of health outcomes, life expectancy, infant mortality, and chronic disease management, America ranks below most of the countries that spend significantly less. European fans who discovered American healthcare costs this summer were not just shocked by the numbers. They were confused by the apparent contradiction. How does the most expensive healthcare system in the world produce results that other countries achieve for a fraction of the price? That is a question Americans have been asking themselves for decades without a satisfying answer. And for a few weeks this summer, 1 million European visitors were asking it too. All right, let us go back to the quiz. How much does the average ambulance ride cost in America? The answer is $1,383, confirmed by an international comparison analysis published by EMS1 in 2026, which found the United States has the highest ambulance call-out costs among all 7 developed countries reviewed. More than double Australia's average of $622, and roughly $1,383 more than what a European fan would pay for the same ride at home. Now, I want to hear from you. If you are European and you had a medical experience in America during this World Cup, what was your reaction when you found out what it cost? And if you are American, does it surprise you that Europeans find these numbers genuinely incomprehensible? Drop it in the comments because this one is going to get a very real reaction from both sides. If you liked this video, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because there is a lot more coming before the final on July 19th. And always remember, whether you call it football or football, the game always brings us together. I'll see you on the next one.